think that the difference this year is his presence. He's more present. He's been here since the spring. He's taking a bigger leadership role. He's sending a signal to all those younger players. He's the old head of the group at the ripe old age of 27. But I think he's setting the bar high. He's setting a precedent. He's telling these other guys what it should look like. Hi, everyone. It's Matt Barrows with The Athletic. This is sort of a supplemental 49ers plus minus after the first 7 days of training camp. So this is a sort of 1 week in training camp update. And I wanted to give you an indication of where things stand, maybe some of the players who are standing out over the first week of camp. We're going to do 3 defensive players and then 3 offensive players. And I'll tell you that it's easier to get the defensive players than the offensive players, and also maybe the receivers as well. Those are the 2 position groups that are closest to the reporters. So brace yourself. All the footage from practices with these reorganized fields are going to be heavy on D-line and wide receivers, light on linebackers and offensive line. It just occurred to me that in previous years, there's been one guy who stood out throughout the spring and throughout the summer. 2 years ago, that was Brandon Ayuk. 1 year ago, that was Deommodore Lenoir, and both of those guys went on to have very strong seasons. So this group that I'm about to talk to you about, they're in the running. We'll have updates on this in the future, but let's go with the 3 defensive players. The first one is Nick Bosa. No surprise. He's always good when he's on the field. I think that the difference this year is his presence. He's more present. He's been here since the spring. He's taking a bigger leadership role. He's sending a signal to all those younger players. He's the old head of the group at the ripe old age of 27. But I think he's setting the bar high. He's setting a precedent. He's telling these other guys what it should look like. And he's doing that in the classroom, in the meeting room, and on the practice field. And he's been very hard to block, very hard for Trent Williams to block, for example. Nick Bosa really almost single-handedly blew up the offense's move the ball drill a couple of days ago. He was giving Trent Williams probably a surefire Hall of Famer, a run for his money, just about every play out there. So a good start for Nick Bosa. He had 9 sacks last year. Got to tell you, 1 week in, I would think that he's going to surpass that 9 sack total. The second guy on defense, D. Winters. This guy seems to make a splash play every practice. Whether it's an interception or a fumble recovery for a touchdown, which is what he had in Thursday's session. He's also been playing the run well. They're kind of hard to tell for sure, but he seems to be in the middle of the pack whenever there's a stop at the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you a story. 2 years ago, D. Winters is a rookie, and I'm standing next to an ex-49er who's in town to watch practice, and we're just chatting it up. And he looks over at D. Winters, and he sees like a little belly on him, a little pot belly on D. Winters, a rookie. And he said, "Oh, I can just tell that guy doesn't take his training seriously, because if he did, he wouldn't have that little belly that he had." And D. Winters had just run a sub 4.5 40 in the draft. So it wasn't as if he was totally out of shape or anything like that, but it just kind of underscores the degree of training you need to have when you're in the NFL. And lo and behold, that belly is gone this year. And D. Winters has really kind of risen to the occasion. Some of us thought that the handwriting was on the wall for him when the 49ers drafted Nick Martin in the 3rd round, and D. Winters he heard that warning, and Nick Martin's been good, and in fact he's been good in recent practices. So it'll be interesting in the next 7-day update to kind of see what he's doing and if he's closing the gap on D. Winters. But right now, D. Winters is doing everything right, and seems to be ahead in that battle for weak side linebacker. That's an every down role. Then the number three defensive player, and it was a tough choice, but I'm going to go with the rookie, and this is what the title of this recording alludes to, and I'm going to go with Upton Stout. I think Upton Stout's been really good. When the 49ers were on the clock at the end of the third round in April, everybody thought, okay, they're probably going to select a big guy there, an offensive lineman, maybe another defensive lineman, maybe a tight end. Instead, they went with one of the smallest guys in the draft in Upton Stout from Western Kentucky. And you thought, oh boy, that's kind of a questionable decision on day two of the draft. Well, Upton Stout he looks like he's out of central casting for a nickel cornerback. He looked really good, very sticky in coverage. Back in the spring, he was behind Trey Brown in the pecking order at nickel cornerback. Now he's ahead of Brown. So I think the sky's the limit. He really seems to be kind of working his way into a starting role. So arrow way up for Upton Stout. He just needs to keep it up through the month of August. Now we'll get to the offensive players. A little harder to come up with three here. Injuries have been a big issue. Juwan Jennings would have been on this list if he hadn't gotten that calf injury that's kept him out of the last few practices. Number one is George Kittle. George Kittle doesn't get a ton of snaps in these practices, and that's a good thing. He doesn't need to learn the offense. He just needs a tune-up. And the 49ers also need to give Luke Farrell, their big free agent signing, as many snaps as possible, so he's used to this offense. So I think that's part of it. But whenever George Kittle's in the lineup, there's a big play, and he scored a 65-yard plus touchdown. He scored some other big chunk gains, picked up some chunk gains rather. Brock Purdy likes to go to him on the first play of the 11-on-11 periods, and for some reason the defense keeps forgetting about George Kittle, and he keeps gouging them for big plays here and there. So he looks good. He looks ready. He looks healthy. He looks eager. I think that he sort of symbolizes this sort of rejuvenated training camp vibe that we're feeling right now. Number two, I'm going to go with Colton McKivitz. I know that Colton McKivitz is not a fan favorite, but he's been Mr. Steady, and he's been Mr. Steady in this camp so far. He doesn't win every rep. I remember Bryce Huff getting him with a speed rush in one of the 11-on-11 situations. But, McKivitz is somebody that you can count on. He's been a 17-game starter the last 2 years. His contract is up after this season, and he saw Jalen Moore, who I think played in only 12 starts over his career. 12 starts, and Colton McKivitz has a lot more than that. He's got 39 starts. So he watched Jalen Moore get paid. Jalen Moore is making $15 million a year in Kansas City. So I'm sure that Colton McKivitz is doing the same thing that Ayuk did 2 years ago, the same thing that Deommodore Lenoir did last year. Have a great season and then try to get paid. And it's either going to be by the 49ers or probably by somebody else. It's hard to see the 49ers forking out a big contract for him, but we'll see. He's looked good. And then number three, I'm going to go with Demarcus Robinson. He's been sort of a constant in these practices. He catches short passes. He catches medium passes. He catches deep balls like he did in Thursday's practice. He catches them over the middle. He catches them at the sideline. He's got the trust of Brock Purdy and Mac Jones for sure. They like to go to him. It's hard to get excited about a guy when you pretty much know he's going to be suspended early in the season, but I think he's going to be a good addition for this team in the long run, especially with Brandon Ayuk coming back from injury early in the season. Some runners up on offense. I'll go Brock Purdy. He's looked good. Mac Jones has looked really good, maybe a little bit safe in his throws. He likes the shorter throws, but he's learning the offense. And again, we're only 7 days in. Russell Gage at wide receiver has looked really good. Isaac Guerendo has looked good. Patrick Taylor Jr. has looked good. He's someone I didn't think looked very good in his one start last year. Remember, he made a start. I think it was in Green Bay, and wasn't good as a runner. Had some problems as a pass catcher, but the pass catching for me has really stood out with Patrick Taylor Jr. And then runners up on defense, just or more honorable mentions. CJ West. I know that you guys have been reading a lot about CJ West in recent practices. He's jumped out. He's very strong. He's very quick with his hands. That's a good foundation for a interior pass rusher. He's got the power move down. And as Kyle Shanahan explained on Thursday, once you get that bull rush down, the offensive lineman has to prepare for that, straight out. And so you as a pass rusher can build off of that. And that's sort of the next step for CJ West is getting the footwork down and really kind of building off of that tremendous power move that he has. On Thursday, he walked two centers backwards, maybe 10 yards. One of them was last year's undrafted rookie Drake Nugent. So, not a big deal there. But the other one was the starting center, Jake Brendel. So some of these wins are coming against NFL veterans. He had a really good rep against Dominic Pooney, for example. So he's looked good. I haven't quite put him in the top three because he's only looked good recently, but arrow up for him. Michael Williams has looked good. He's not in the top three because he was injured one of the days, but he absolutely looks the part. I mentioned Nick Martin and Tatum Bethune. I thought Tatum Bethune has really started to emerge once the pads have gone on, and that's exactly what you want with your middle linebacker. He's backing up. He's one of the backups for Fred Warner at the middle linebacker spot. He likes the running game. He likes to play, moving forward against the run. Maybe not quite linebacker in that he's not kind of as fast and as fluid, certainly as a D Winters, but he's looked good so far, especially against the run. Okay, that's what do we do? Oh, 12 minutes. I was hoping for 15, but you'll take 12. Like I said, this is just a supplemental 49ers plus minus just to get you through to the Tim Kawakami and Matt Barrows tete-a-tetes that we have. We'll have another one of those coming up soon. But I hope you enjoyed this. We'll have more of this type of videos and descriptions as the summer goes on. Thanks.